Welcome to the Badass Women of WWII. I'm Lydia, and today for episode 1, we're kicking off with the true one-of-a-kind. Ola Millie Rexroat is the only known Native American to serve as a WASP during World War II. Millie was born in 1917 in Kansas, but moved to the Pine Ridge Reservation in South Dakota in 1918, where she spent most of her summers with her grandmother. After graduating high school, Millie attended college for 2 years before taking some time off, where she worked at the Indian Service, now known as the Bureau of Indian Affairs. She then went back to school and graduated from the University of New Mexico in 1938 with an art degree. Sometime around the end of 1941, beginning of 1942, she moved to the D.C. area to help with the war effort and soon landed a job with the U.S. engineers building airfields. Instantly, she wanted to be in those planes. Despite the fact that she'd never even driven a car, she immediately sought out how to become a pilot. She was told she had 3 options. 1, own your own plane. 2, be part of the Civil Air Patrol. Or 3, become a WASP. She asked what a WASP was, learned that it was the Women Air Force Service Pilots, and decided she was in. On her days off, Millie spent her hard-earned money taking flying lessons until she reached the 35 hours required to apply to the WASP program. Finally, at 23 years old, she received her orders to report to Avenger Field in Sweetwater, Texas. There, she ate as much as she could, and she filled her socks and shoes with sand so that she could pass the weight requirement. Once into the program, Millie excelled at training. She earned her silver wings and was assigned to Eagle Pass Army Air Base in Texas. Her main job? Towing huge fabric targets behind her AT-6 for aerial gunnery practice. It was a dangerous job, but luckily Millie never had any serious accidents. A terrifying job. But of the work, Millie said, "You didn't have time to be frightened or scared or anything like that. I was more worried about my landings." Millie's time with the WASP program was short-lived. She started flying with them in September of 1944, only to have the program disbanded by Congress in December of 1944. Naturally, she was heartbroken. She wanted to stay on and fly, but her hopes were dashed. Instead, she joined the Air Force as an air traffic controller, one of the first women to do so. After a decade with the Air Force Reserves, she worked as an air traffic controller with the FAA until she retired in the 1970s. Millie was inducted into the South Dakota Aviation Hall of Fame in 2007, and in 2010, she and the other WASPs were awarded the Congressional Gold Medal. In 2017, just 2 months before her 100th birthday, Millie passed away in Hot Springs, South Dakota. Her ashes were interred at Arlington National Cemetery, a battle the WASPs finally won the right to in just 2016. Shortly after her death, Ellsworth Air Force Base in South Dakota renamed their Airfield Operations Building as the Millie Rexroat Building. I'll leave you with a quote from her son at the ceremony dedicating the building on what he learned from his mother. Oh my God, I'm gonna cry. He said, "If you really want to do something, don't let anyone tell you that you can't just because of who or what you are." It wasn't something she ever said to me. It's just who she was. And what did Millie think of her time as a WASP? In her own words, "I'm glad I did it. Glad I had the chance to do it. And if I had it to do all over again, I'd do the same thing."